Welcome to You Are Your Own Hero. I am Dr. Tassel Faith Shamebrook, and just the warmest welcome to you, dear hero, for joining us today. Today, we are talking about mastering self-love in relationships. And I'm going to share with you 10 very powerful practices for you to really deepen your self-love in relationships. And this topic is so important to me, basically because I was alone for many years after my divorce, and I spent many years really deepening my own practice of self-love. And I really thought I had it down. I really thought I had mastered self-love. And then about 2 years ago, I entered a relationship with a man. And I really witnessed how many gaps in my self-love I actually still had through interacting with this person in relationship. So I am just so passionate about this topic, as I do believe relationships can really help us deepen our own self-love and are really an amazing vehicle for our self-love. So let's start with practice number 1. The first practice is fearless, radical commitment to your own happiness. Okay, so I grew up in an orientation of Cinderella land, that my happiness was going to be tied up with a man coming into my life, Prince Charming on a white steed who would sweep me away, and I would live happily ever after in his beautiful castle. So I realized, actually, no, this is not happening. That is not the trajectory of my life. The trajectory of my life is for me to honor and privilege my own happiness, somewhat regardless, well, really regardless of whatever is happening on the external. So rather than having this idea that I had to find happiness through a relationship, or I had to find happiness through a partner, I now really honor the truth for me that my own happiness is an inside job. It is up to me, and I and only I am responsible for it. Okay, practice number 2 is I and only I am responsible for my life and happiness. So this is a very empowering idea. And at first, actually, I found it a little intimidating in a way that, oh, actually, I am the one who is absolutely responsible for my own happiness. So the question I ask myself constantly is, what do I need to be grounded and happy? That is my litmus test. And if anything in my life is not serving my own happiness, my own groundedness, my own joy, then I need to shift it, or I need to let it go. So this practice is taking full ownership, accountability for your own life and your own happiness. You are the creator of your reality. Okay, practice number 3 is fearless, radical commitment to your human's needs. So I can sometimes get very attached to the spiritual perspective that everything is always happening for my highest and best, for everyone else's highest and best, and that difficult, challenging situations are really here to serve me. And yes, I absolutely believe all of that on the larger spiritual perspective. And at the same time, I also want to honor what my human's needs are. What do I really need in relationship, for instance? What do I really enjoy? What are my preferences? So really privileging my own needs, my own preferences, my own desires, my own dreams. and not just thinking of everything as a catalyst or as an opportunity for me to grow, but really paying attention to what do I really want in my life and what do I really want in relationship. Practice number 4, honoring that the relationship is in each moment. So I often could get into an orientation of, well, things will be better when. Things will be better in this relationship when this person has healed this, when I have healed this, when we are living in the same place, when. So my understanding now is really that just like life is in every single moment, and it is not when something has happened, it is the same in our relationships. Our relationship exists in every moment, in the now moment. And what became really, really obvious to me is particularly the way we communicate in our relationships is so important in maintaining the overall health of the relationship. The relationship is in each moment. It is not when the conflict is over. It is not when something has happened. It is in each moment. And from that orientation, can we, in each moment, bring love and kindness to all of our interactions? Okay. Practice number 5, love is a verb. So this is somewhat similar to what we were just talking about in practice number 4. When I was growing up, I heard the words, I love you, a lot directed towards me, but I didn't necessarily receive loving actions, loving interactions towards me from the people who were saying, I love you. So I think I became a bit confused about what love really is. And to me at this point, I really see love as a verb. How is your partner embodying love towards you? How is your partner treating you? How is your partner in their actions and behaviors towards you really honoring what you find important and what you find loving? So in this practice, it's really paying close attention to how you are actually being treated. What is the actual behavior and interactions coming towards you beyond what a person says? And practice number 6 is the practice of active listening. This has become one of my very favorite practices of all time, working with couples. This is the very simple practice of when 2 people are talking, discussing anything, one person is the talker and one person is the listener, and the listener just listens. The listener does not interrupt. The listener does not give their opinion. The listener does not defend. The listener only listens. And then when the first person is done talking, the listener summarizes what the first person has said, and then we switch. And I have found active listening to be an absolute game changer in how couples communicate. People actually really start listening for the first time rather than sort of waiting just to respond. And in addition to this active listening practice, we can also use validation and empathy as further steps to really up-level our communication to such a loving platform. Okay, number 7 is the practice of vulnerability. So when I say that word, how does that feel? Does it feel a little scary or a little intimidating in your body? I know when I run that word through my body, I can feel a little bit intimidated, a little bit scared. So the practice here is about remaining open-hearted, remaining coming from an orientation of love, not fear. So, when we are in relationships, sometimes out of fear, it is easy to close down our heart. It is easy to run away. It is easy to hide. It is easy not to say the actual truth for fear of being hurt. And of course, there is always a chance that when we are open hearted and we do speak from love and vulnerability, that we may be met, we may receive something that is hurtful to us. But how I land on it at this point is I'm going to show up in my very best way that I can, with complete open heartedness, with complete vulnerability. And whatever happens is really out of my hands after that. But I will have done my best to show up in the relationship as best as I can and to give the relationship the best chance that I can. And I also invite you to just notice how your partner is showing up with you. Are they showing up in vulnerability? Are they showing up in open heartedness? Are they showing up in their honest and sacred truth? And because of this principle of as within, so without, I often find that the more we do show up in vulnerability and open heartedness, the more we notice others showing up in that orientation for us as well. Okay, number 8 is honoring the practice that the truth always serves all in the end. So the practice is that the truth always serves all in the end. Many of us here who are light workers, we are really hardwired to be very loving and to shine our loving light upon everyone we meet. But a really essential part of being a light worker is also shining truth. And sometimes truth in the short term can be uncomfortable to deliver. Sometimes people may be triggered by the truth that we share. It may be a catalyst for them. It may be uncomfortable. Pain might arise. And all of this can be very uncomfortable. Most of us do not enjoy seeing other people in pain from our own behavior. But the practice here is honoring that in the end, the truth always serves all in the long run. So if you're in relationship and you can feel a truth within you arising, you're not being reactive. This is just come up time and time again. You may feel called to deliver this truth to your partner. Part of the sacred vessel of relationship is mirroring, is shining the truth for each other, because we all have blind spots, and it is through relationship that we can be mirrored back the truth so we can see it and look at our shadow. So this is a very courageous practice to be in your truth and to be committed to always honoring the truth within you and, as appropriate, sharing the truth with your partner. In the end, this is a very loving act for both yourself and for your partner. And also to be able to receive truth from your partner is also a very courageous act as well. And the 9th practice is fearless, radical accountability and ownership for each partner in the relationship. So basically this means, okay, what is my stuff, my shadow, my expansion that is being called for? What is my partner's stuff, their shadow, their expansion that is being called for? And then together, what is our stuff in the middle that we are being invited to expand on together as a couple? And a really healthy relationship, the two people involved are really able to discern and take ownership of what is their own stuff, what is their partner's stuff, and what is our stuff in the middle. and to be really, really mindful of this, and to not muddle it up in blaming the other partner for what really is your own shadow to move through. And then lastly, the last practice, number 10, is to be willing at any moment to let a relationship go. So most of us have been socialized in this Western culture. One of the marriage vows that's very common is "till death do us part." And there's a lot of dense programming around this idea. The higher perspective that we are taking here is that a relationship exists from moment to moment, and we can remain in somewhat of an unattached orientation. Not that we don't care very much for this person, not that we don't want it to work out, but if over time the relationship is not serving your highest and best and your partner's highest and best, we can be willing and able to let it go and know that that is the highest and best orientation. So we live in somewhat of a not knowing mind, somewhat of a not knowing orientation, what the future holds, and we listen to our guidance, and we take inspired action, and we remain in alignment. And if that means something must be released, then we courageously release it. So these are 10 practices for us to more profoundly master our own self-love within relationship, which I believe can be a much deeper initiation into self-love through all of these relational interactions. And I have a wonderful, amazing 10-day self-love in relationship challenge. It's a course, and the link to it is in the description below if you would like to join me in talking about this more and learning about this more and putting it more into practice. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you like the video, please give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so, so much, and so much love to you.